Augie.
Paulson. Here. Supervisor Jacob. Here. Supervisor Lindell. Here. Supervisor Felker.
Here.
Supervisor Fitzgerald. Here. Supervisor Nealon.
Here.
Supervisor Schultz.
Here.
Supervisor Roberts. And Supervisor Christensen.
Here.
Thank you.
Supervisor Backlund is here also.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, rise for pledge of allegiance. And we'll be led by a new member tonight. We'll use new members for the next couple of weeks. Supervisor Martin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll just take a moment to contemplate what you're about to act on tonight. Okay. In compliance with open meetings law, Mr. Administrator?
We're in compliance, Mr. Chair.
I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Please state your name out loud because of the way we're recording it here. It makes it easier. And your second. Wayne Paulson moves. I have a second from George Jacob. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Just a note to you, we do not have approval of the minutes on here. It was missed being put on this agenda. The executive committee has already approved those minutes for last month's meeting. Communications. Treasurer's monthly report.
Okay, we have, oops, I'm sorry. We have the treasurer's monthly report, and then we have the zoning committee notice of public hearing, which will take place on May 21st, 2020 at 7 p.m. And then we have some retirement recognitions.
And our retirements.
For the new members that are here tonight, normally what we try to do is invite retirees from the county who have within the last 3 months to come here and be recognized by the Board of Supervisors, but under current circumstances, we are doing things a little differently and mailing their gifts, their certificate, and a little gift of appreciation to them. But I would like to publicly recognize them at this time. First is Bonnie Piet. She was an LPN at the health department for over 8 years. Karen Tyne was an RN, ADRC worker with Human Services for a little over 13 years. Loretta Zick was an administrative assistant with Human Services for 26.5 years. Dennis Hummel was worked at the highway for over 30 years. And then our long-timer, was Cheryl Strike, who works with Human Services for 38 years and 10 months. She can stick it out for that 39 or 40 years. So we appreciate all the service that these 5 individuals have given to Jefferson County.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you to those employees for their service to Jefferson County. We much appreciate it. Public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment? If so, you have 3 minutes. Please come up to the mic. Someone online? Okay. Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to County Administrator resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So tonight I'm bringing a resolution directing the board to the transition. The Parks Committee didn't have a chance to meet before this resolution came forward. So this is continued forward with a project that you had approved in the past. That's an opportunity to get grant funding to help with the cost of that project. So tonight is a resolution authorizing the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Stewardship, Federal Recognition Trails Program, and Land Water Conservation Fund grant application and acceptance. Executive Summit of Jefferson County Parks Department is planning to construct a recreational trail for hiking, biking, and cross-country skiing on right-of-way owned by We Energies. The proposed trail is 10.96 miles in length and is located between the city of Watertown, Wisconsin, and the city of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. This off-road paved trail connection will be built on the former interurban rail line that connects the city of Watertown to the city of Oconomowoc. The path cross-section will consist of 10-foot wide asphalt surface with 2-foot wide aggregate shoulders. An 8-inch stone base and 3-inch asphalt layer will be used. The project is located primarily in Jefferson County, 10 miles, and a portion of Waukesha County, 1 mile. The city of Watertown and the city of Oconomowoc are the project boundary. The old interurban rail line, which at one time connected the city of Watertown with the city of Milwaukee, is now a utility corridor owned by We Energies, and the American Transmission Company operates electrical transmission facilities on the corridor. The county administrator recommends forwarding this to the board for approval. And then the fiscal note. The county is awarded a stewardship grant described above. The finance director is authorized to increase budget accounts as stated in the amount of the grant award, which will not exceed $857,000. No tax levy is required for this request. This is a budget amendment. County board approval requires a 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the county board. I ask for a motion with this board.
This is Doggy. I'll move to approve.
And there's a second by Augie Teets. Any discussion? Any discussion? This is a 2/3. Yes, Mike, Supervisor Kelly. Supervisor Kelly, wait up. You gotta have a mic. No, we can hear you.
Thank you. Could someone just please describe, it looks like this grant is for plan review construction and construction review. But then there's also money needed for project design and engineering. And it looks like, could someone put that all together briefly?
So the grant that's being applied for on this is 3 main components related to phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1, part of the dollars being sought for is specifically for the asphalt that hasn't been done yet. So those who recall, phase 1 specifically focused in on from the city park in Watertown to River Road, and with the bridge put in place, and city of Watertown helped with putting some gravel in place and things like that and get it level up, but we never formally put any asphalt on top, so a portion of the grant would help with that. Then phase 2 is what we received the federal TAP grant for that was already approved. That's from River Road down the county highway up in the town of Exonia. So included in that, because it's a federal grant, there's a significant more requirement for engineering that has to take place that we have to meet. So a portion of the grant would help offset that cost that we're also paying for. along with the design review from the state, and then the other part is construction costs related to that project.
Could go with enough funds to do the project.
This would be added in with the TAP grant, and we're still working on an engineer's estimate. We're approximately 30% design review, so we are working with ATC and We Energies and a couple contributions so we can finalize the total cost. I don't know, I do not believe this would be enough quite yet to get there, but it's going to get us closer to get this grant.
Any other questions, or discussions on this resolution? Any other questions or discussions? Since this is a budget amendment, I guess we need a roll call, unfortunately.
Supervisor Jones?
Aye.
Supervisor Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor David?
Aye.
Supervisor Teets?
Aye.
Supervisor Brockler?
Aye.
Supervisor Herbst?
Aye.
Supervisor Morris?
Aye.
Supervisor Wieneke?
Aye.
Supervisor Renard? Supervisor Zastro?
Yes.
Supervisor Johns?
Yes.
Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin? Supervisor Lund?
Aye.
Supervisor Nass?
Aye.
Supervisor Payne?
Aye.
Supervisor Coots?
Aye.
Supervisor White?
Aye.
Supervisor Drana? Supervisor Backlund?
Aye.
Supervisor Kennard?
Yep.
Supervisor Paulson? Supervisor Jacob? Supervisor Lindell?
Yes.
Supervisor Felker?
Aye.
Supervisor Fitzgerald? Supervisor Nealon? Supervisor Schultz? Supervisor Roberts?
Here. Oh, aye.
Thank you. And Supervisor Christensen? Okay, we have 30 yes and 0 no.
Thank you, it passes. Moves on to resolutions from the executive committee, resolution on emergency declaration. Supervisor Renard.
I'll go. Resolution number 2023. 4. 3, I apologize. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Wait, I'm gonna get to the right thing. This is a resolution that you've seen before a couple of times, so I'm going to start reading at the beginning where we get down to what it actually does. Whereas the county administrator is authorized to utilize contingency funds and fund balance as needed to maintain the county continuity of operations with oversight as needed by the finance committee. And whereas the county administrator is authorized to amend or suspend personnel policies in the best interest of public and employee safety and continuing county operations. And whereas such emergency declaration may make Jefferson County eligible for emergency funds and will facilitate and expedite the use of various resources to protect persons from the impacts of the spread of COVID-19 while maintaining continuity of operations for Jefferson County. This declaration shall be in effect until June 9th, 2020. If the county board is unable to meet on June 9th, 2020, this declaration will automatically continue until the next meeting of the county board. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the county board ratifies the emergency declaration issued by County Board Chair Jim Schrader on March 13, 2020, which is presently in effect with the full power and effect as determined. This declaration shall be in effect until June 9th, 2020. If the county board is unable to meet on June 9,
2020, this declaration will automatically continue until the next meeting of the county board. The fiscal note is none known at this time. I move approval of this resolution.
Supervisor Johns. Any discussion? Discussion? Questions, discussion? We'll do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One opposed, or Supervisor Brockler. And then Amy, you want to address the resolution?
Yeah.
Either authorization of remote attendance.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion now to table the resolution number 2020, I guess it would be 5, which is the authorization for remote attendance. Because we've already authorized the extension of the emergency declaration, we don't have to take separate action on this because the remote attendance procedures end with the end of the emergency declaration. So this is now not necessary to act on this.
So it will be tabled in case we have to address it at a future meeting.
Right.
Okay, yes, we should vote on tabling then.
We postpone it last week. People we have to bring up tonight again. Postpone.
Either one.
You can use the figure off.
That's right. I move to table.
I'll second.
Second by Morris, move to table by Supervisor Bernard, second by Morris. Any discussion? All in favor of tabling this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Which takes us to Planning and Zoning Committee. Mr. Tinkle. Mr. Tinkle is the Vice Chair of the Planning and Zoning Committee at this point. We have not met yet to elect officers. So the report and the ordinance.
Report to the honorable members of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. The Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official county zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing held on April 23rd, 2020, as required by law pursuant to Wisconsin state statutes. Notice thereof having been given and been duly advised of the wishes of the town boards and persons in the affected area, hereby makes the following recommendations. Approval of petitions as listed, dated this day, this 27th day of April 2020, Blaine Paulson, Secretary. Moves to ordinance number 2022, amending the official Jefferson County zoning map. And you can see as listed, I move for approval of this ordinance.
That was second by Supervisor Brogler. Any questions, discussion? All in favor? Yes.
I need to abstain.
Notice that Supervisor Kennard is abstaining for possible conflict of interest. Anyone else? Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passed. Proclamation. Mr. Zastro, proclamation for proclaiming the month of June as Dairy Month in Jefferson County. Supervisor Zastro is now the chair of the UW Extension Committee, so he'll be reading this declaration.
Good evening, and also I am a former dairy farmer. Right now I'm probably the oldest person in this room also. Anyway, since the meeting is so short, I suppose I could go on for a half hour. Okay. Proclamation, the month of June is Dairy Month in Jefferson County. Whereas agriculture in general and dairy farmers in particular have had a tough go of it for over 5 years and would benefit from a dose of appreciation and encouragement. Whereas dairy products are a good source of vital nutrients that are part of a healthy, well-balanced diet. And whereas drinking 3 or 4 8-ounce glasses of milk each day is recommended for youth and adults. Whereas there are 79 dairy herds and 13,800 dairy cows in Jefferson County. And whereas dairy cows in Jefferson County produce 332 million pounds of milk per year. And whereas each dairy cow produces 23,600 pounds of milk per year, resulting in $16,000 of economic activity per cow. And whereas farm and rural families are an important part of Jefferson County's identity and culture, and whereas dairy farmers and the associated business surrounding them throughout the county have a significant economic impact. And whereas agricultural enterprises are a focus area in the county's emerging economic vision, whereas the University of Wisconsin Extension Committee at its May 11, 2020 meeting considered this proclamation and recommended forwarding to the County Board of Supervisors for adoption. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims the month of June 2020 as Dairy Month in Jefferson County. Fiscal note, there is no fiscal impact. And I wish to make a comment, as I usually do, concerning the dairy industry and farming in general. We all know that the dairy industry and also the balance of agriculture is really suffering during this pandemic. Farmers are presently dumping some of their milk, quite large amounts. I heard one farmer in Dodge County that dumped 600,000 gallons of milk last month. And many others are doing likewise. The dairy plants aren't accepting the milk. With the pandemic, the schools being closed, no milk is being consumed all around the country in schools, as it usually would be at this time. And also with the fast food establishments being closed, they serve a lot of ice cream, so that isn't being consumed. And there was a surplus of milk to begin with, and this compounds it some more. Also with, I heard yesterday that hogs are being euthanized, but there's no market for some of them. With the packing plants being shut down because of the COVID problem, they won't accept the hogs, or they won't take as many. And likewise, the beef farmer who had cattle ready to go to market, these animals are now staying on the farm, gaining weight, producing more beef. And again, many slaughterhouses are closed down or working on a very limited basis. And the price of the beef, I understand, is down some 30%. This is $300 to $400 per animal. Just imagine, of the $300 to $400, the farmer would have had about $100 or $150 worth of profit. So that's gone. An additional $250 that's going to be gone along with it. So agriculture presently is in bad shape. Hopefully, we deal with this eventually, that everybody can survive. Last year, again, over 800 dairy farms in the state of Wisconsin went out of production. And like I said last year, these are individual businesses that go out of production. People get excited when a business on Main Street goes out of production, but these are all individual businesses. That produce a lot of money in our economy and money to support families. That now these people are looking elsewhere for work. So with that said, I move to accept this proclamation.
Do you have a second? I have a second from Supervisor David. Any discussion?
I have a question for Mr. Zastro of the what is it, 79 dairy herds in Jefferson County. How does that rank Jefferson County as state?
Did you hear that, Lloyd? No. That was Supervisor Teets. He felt there was 79 dairy operations in Jefferson County. How does that stand us in the state? Is that correct, Augie?
Yeah,
And Lloyd looks confused. He doesn't know. He doesn't know where that ranks us.
I just gave him a mind boggler.
Any other questions? Supervisor Schmidt.
$16,000 came from. Dollar amount came in economic activity.
Oh, that would be what the milk would be worth with 1 cow. So it is economics. This is how it affects our state economy.
No, I understand it, but I was under the impression it's like $14 a hundredweight, which was making closer to $3,000 or $4,000 in economic activity, not $16,000. I'm just wondering where that necessarily came from.
That is from UW Extension.
Okay. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong with my math, but it just seems awful high.
Or you can follow up with our ag person down there and find out exactly how they can make that number.
Okay.
At UW Extension. I'm sure they'll be glad to give you lots of information.
That's how much they lose on each cow.
So drink milk and eat ice cream.
Any other questions? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
None? Passes. Appointments by county administrator, pages 12-13.
By the authority invested in 59.18, parent 2, parent B of the Wisconsin statute, respectfully request confirmation of the following appointments. The Blue Springs Lake Management District Supervisor Walt Christensen for the board term, to the Board of Health Supervisor Kirk Blunt to fill the unexpired term of Connor Nealon ending May 10th, 2022. Samantha Lamoureux for a 3-year term ending May 9th, 2023. Dr. Don Williams for a 3-year term ending May 9th, 2023. To the Human Service Board, Supervisor Mike Winnicky to fill the unexpired term of Supervisor Jim Mode ending November 1st, 2021. To the Land Information Council, County Board Chair Steve Nass, and to the Lower Spring Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District for the board term, Supervisor Walt Christensen. I respectfully request confirmation of these appointments.
So moved by Supervisor Morris, second by Supervisor Johns. Any discussion? All in favor of these appointments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. And then appointments by the county board chair. I, Steve Nash, Chairman of the County Board of Supervisors, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, as the appointing authority for standing committees. I appoint the following as listed. I'm not going to read them all. And they're in your packet, pages 12-13. Now, is there any public comment of a general nature? Yes. Please come up to the mic.
From here?
Oh, please come up to the mic.
I just wanted to make a comment.
Could you just identify yourself?
My name is Jan Johnstone. I live here in the city of Jefferson. And I just wanted to read a quick thing for you guys, if I could. I'm here to represent not only the businesses, I'm not through the chamber, but I have a lot of friends that are business owners, and I have a lot of just plain friends here in town. And the COVID-19 thing seems to be a very big concern with the businesses here in town. And it would be just better, because I'm a little nervous being in front of you all, if I just read this real quick. This is the first time in American history that the healthy have been held to a safer at home situation. And it just seems a little strange to us that this is continuing going on. And I know you all know the politics of it. I'm not going to get into that by any means. But I just want you guys to understand that businesses here were asked to flatten the curve of this COVID-19 and to close their businesses, the small businesses were. And we've done that. The small businesses have voluntarily closed and they would like to open now. A lot of us have applied for SBA loans and have not received any kind of contact from the SBA that these are being reviewed and that they're getting done. We're not receiving any money. And the PUA from the state is not coming through either. Now, I know some people have received the PPPs, but the majority of us have not received any money whatsoever. And I understand that we're waiting for the state Supreme Court to get back to see if this was an overreach by Governor Evers. But my concern is this is going to continue on through June and then July and everything else. So I am asking the county board to at least start to consider, if this is going to continue to go on with the state, that if there's some way that the businesses can work with the county, or if we can work with multiple counties at the same time to open some of these businesses. I know Kenosha County is starting to open up, Polk County, Oneida County. I know Oneida is in its own world, but some of these counties are starting to open up and they don't have very many cases of COVID. I know we've had one death here, and I'm not trying to make that a light case by any means. And I'm not here trying to upset anybody, but we already have people that are really scared that even if these businesses open up, it's going to be a long time for some of these customers to come back to them anyways. And it seems a little silly to me that there's 500 people in Walmart touching everything, and we can't have one of the smaller stores open here. I know that you can have 5 people in the store, but I think the media has overplayed this a tad bit. I'm not downplaying anybody's fear by any means. I know some people have underlying conditions, but all I'm asking is for the board to at least talk to some people, talk to some other businesses. Salons, hairstylists, I don't know if you all are aware of this, but when they're state licensed, they are almost as, they have as many requirements almost to fulfill as some hospital workers, like nurses. There's a lot of things that they do to make sure that they handle infectious diseases so they don't infect anybody else. So I wish you guys would talk to some salon owners and see if we can, barbers, that kind of thing, give them a chance to get their livelihoods back. I'm not asking because I need a haircut. I'm asking for their livelihoods. Some of these people, when they open their businesses, they have to take second mortgages out on their homes. So it's not just, little things that are at stake here. There's big things. I know an older lady that can't get medical care that she needs because they're only treating COVID patients. I know a young baby that is, he only has one kidney and now that one's failing. And he can't get the care that he needs. The mentally ill are not doing well in the situation. I have a son that's bipolar and they're not being allowed to do anything. I'm just asking if you guys could just consider, helping us to open up a little bit quicker, to do something, just to release some of the restrictions. That's all I'm asking for. And I know I've been working with Paul Novak, and Officer Parker also called me today. But I'm just saying is there something that we can do? And if there's something that I can help, Paul Novak has my email. So. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Is there anyone else for public comment of a general nature? Anyone else? Okay. Our administrators told me he has a few announcements.
So kind of building on the theme that our public comment said, I just want to kind of update, and this is some information that got put out today by our economic development organization. So many board members were on our town hall meeting last Thursday. I know Steve covered it in the paper for us last week, but I think at one point we had close to 75 people on the call starting to talk about how do we recover, how do we open some of the programs that are in place.
It's a partnership that we're doing from a county's perspective and working with the Small Business Development Center at UW Whitewater. So Ken Coffin from there, who's an outstanding resource that we're trying to connect with other businesses. But we had a lot of positive feedback and kind of to the point of how do we work with our businesses to safely reopen and what does that plan look like? So they are looking at some functional areas of programs. Put out today are 2 programs coming up. So on Tuesday, May 19th from 3:30 to 5, there's going to be professional service. And the idea behind these things is talk with your specific industries. What are some of the challenges, what are the opportunities, and how do we open safe? So that professional services is going to focus on salons, hand-on beauty services providers, residential cleaning services, and catering and event services. Some of those areas that probably have been the hardest hit with some of the reopening. Then also on Thursday, May 21st, 2020, from 3:30 to 5, there'll be one then focused on bars, restaurants, and cafes. Again, focus is talking with your peers in the area, look at the challenges, but also start talking about how to safely reopen that recovery plan, help get some ideas behind that so we can work together. So kind of building out the comments. That's what our economic development group is already working on. I plan to talk about that for tonight already. So just so everyone knows, but that resource is available on our webpage as well. I did want to share something a little fun with progress of what's going on. And so many of you know, I'm working as we move the highway shop to a new site to get it prepared for private development in the joint private-public park. And so our highway shop, our parks folks, and our land surveyor have been out working hard and actually flew the drone the other day. If you drive by right now, but here's the progress. You can see where the new road will be. The area that we're crossing through right now is going to be a portion of the new joint park, and you're going to kind of see what's going on along the river, and eventually you'll also see where the new boat ramp is coming in. Unfortunately, my screen is confused fast, and what's being shown up there. And then on the far back where you see the dirt piles that are slowly moving away, that's going to be what we're going to look at for private development. And that's the land that we're looking at trying to sell for the future, get it back on the tax rolls, and make a nice accommodation though for the city and county residents as well. So a lot of progress has been made. Our teams are working hard out there, a great cooperation with many. But it's going to be a nice asset as we look ahead to the future, and hopefully we'll have a nice development as well going ahead to the future. So I just want to share because I thought this was pretty neat to give you a bird's eye view of the progress we're making. So with that being said, feel free to ask questions on where we're at with certain items related to COVID. I can update you. As many of you know, we do have ongoing operational calls and community calls, so feel free to reach out when you need to. So, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben?
Where on the river was that?
It's right across. If you go straight out here and go on Pure Street straight across the river, you'll see it on the right-hand side.
Okay. The old highway shop.
The old highway shop.
Okay.
So on your way home, Buck, right across in 26, you'll see it on the right-hand side. Any other questions? I want to thank you all for putting up with these difficulties that we're having, the difficulties doing the meetings and the Zoom meetings that many of you have attended, and being patient with those when the technology isn't there. I thank you so much for your flexibility. I do certainly appreciate that, and I know the people of Jefferson County do. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Supervisor Jacobs.
Okay, is there a second to Supervisor Jacobs' motion? Second by Paulson. No discussion on a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. We're adjourned. Thank you. And I'm glad to see that everybody wore pants tonight, even though we were on TV.